My name is Zach Bagans. I never believed in ghosts until I came face to face with one. Raw. Extreme. These are our ghost adventures.
Welcome to Paranormal Playback, the podcast where we recap the spooky and entertaining world of paranormal reality TV. I'm Charlie Holly.
I'm Melanie Malone.
And I'm Lauren Sanders.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
So we are back from our little hiatus.
Oh, it's nice to be back.
It's so good to be back. We've missed all of our listeners, our little shadow people. Why do I always call you little? You're not little anymore. There's a lot of you.
Mel just got back from, St. Thomas?
Yes, I did. It was beautiful. All of our, if we've got any Virgin Islands listeners out there, be it British Virgin Islands or U.S. Virgin Islands, love y'all. Love the culture. I mean, so pretty. It was so pretty.
Did you scuba dive?
No, Wright got to scuba dive, so I got to do a boat day. So Wright is my husband, for those who don't know, and he gets very motion sick. So we did like a boat day and went over to the BVI's for a little bit. And
that sounds like a venereal disease.
I was going to say
BVI's. The BVI's, that's what they're called.
I've never heard it referenced to like that. Or B, bacterial vaginosis infection is what I thought of.
Okay, well, blame the United Kingdom for calling it that.
I am. You hear me, United Kingdom. I am judging.
But that's the way. Maybe it's because I actually used to work on the USVI account, like the advertising for USVI. Maybe
that
that's why
makes a lot of sense.
refer to it like that.
And Charlie used to work for the bacterial vaginosis account.
I was like, where is she going with this one?
Anyway.
No, I do have a clean bill of health. Thank you, Lauren.
Yes. So it was both were beautiful, but my youngest doesn't have a passport and Wright gets seasick. So he did scuba and I stayed with the kids.
Did you see anything haunted?
No, I don't think I encountered anything haunted because we just were kind of on the beach and the boat. We didn't do like any sort of shipwreck or whatever. So if you do have any haunted stories from your travel abroad, go check out our TikTok at paranormal.playback. Paranormal.playba, Playba, and go check out the post I put up while I was on vacation, seeing if anybody had any ghost stories to share. We would love to hear them from your travel experiences.
Yes. Anyway, we hope you guys have enjoyed This Old Haunt and Charlie Checks the Text segments that we've been putting out in the month of June. We were initially not putting anything out in the month of June, and then these two ideas came to us, and so we were excited to be able to give you guys a little bit extra bonus content, and we have enjoyed them so much that we are thinking we might do them like once a month moving forward, or possibly add them to our subscription-based content that we're planning for the future. So stay tuned. We'll let you guys know as we develop the rest of that. We also wanted to say thank you to all of our followers. And for those who are new, welcome, welcome. Feel free to subscribe and follow and review if you're enjoying the show. Every like, subscribe, and follow really helps. And we couldn't do this show without our shadow people. And that's what we call all of our listeners. Followers. I hate the word followers because you're not followers. You're on this journey with us.
Yes.
We're all on this journey together.
People.
Supporters.
Yes. Supporters is so much better than followers.
Our fellow investigators.
Yes. This is going to be part 1 of Ghost Adventures, season 1, episode 5, Sloss Furnace, Birmingham, Alabama.
We're back.
We are back in 2008. Guys,
yay!
It feels like we're home.
We're
so nice.
We're back in the what was Mel? What did Mel love back in 2008?
It was my freshman year of college.
No, but Chris Angel.
Oh yeah,
This,
that's right.
this is back in Chris Angel Mel
Hey,
territory.
Chrissy Poo.
Yes, we're back.
here. Number one fan.
Insert Chris Angel.
Insert
Mel.
Chris Angel kissing Mel on the cheek.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So we're back with Zach, Nick, and Aaron. Nick is back. I thought we have yet to meet Billy and Jay, but spoiler alert, we might be meeting Billy in this episode.
Oh my god, I wrote that. It is Billy.
It is very much Billy at the very end.
How funny. Oh my gosh.
Working for pimps, but we'll get back to that in part 2.
Yes. I miss the intros and the spiked hair, and man, do they all look different.
Oh,
Nick.
and we're back to Zach's love of strange hat choices.
I do love jumping back in time, though.
It's
So
wild.
good.
It's pretty wild. Like, I had culture shock that first new episode, and now I'm like, what? But this is such better content.
It is
It's so much better. It's
There-
raw. It's extreme.
These are our ghost adventures.
It's funny because we're like, we hate him yelling at the ghost, but then we're like, yes, we need him yelling at the ghost.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what it is?
Isn't that? Yeah.
It's that they're not jaded yet. Like they're
Yeah.
not. They don't know what they don't know, and so it's really wild to watch a lot of their choices in these early seasons of things they're willing to do.
Oh, I know. Yeah, what they're willing to do. Exactly. That's like
Yeah.
a great way of.
And they don't, and they're not like fame hasn't not corrupted them, but gotten
jaded them.
Yeah. But it's good to be back.
They're not phoning it in.
No, they're not. They like care, and
they
it
actually
doesn't seem
care about a
scripted
lockdown
anymore. Like, it's very scripted in the new season.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, Zach's whole thing is he has a personality.
Yeah.
Again, if you're watching on YouTube, everyone just observe Lauren's microphone. I give her this gift of a green cover. Here we are, ripped on brand. I'm kidding. We love you.
Torn to pieces, actually.
It's still, it still does what it needs to do.
Tear my life into pieces.
It
feels
feels
no breathing. It feels so appropriate for Zach and the crew to be playing that.
This is a representation of my life.
I know. The way it was turned, it does look like a little emo haircut on your mic.
Swept to the side.
Like a 2008 haircut. I love it.
At this point in the YouTube, I think you should give us each like an emo hair swoop as we're talking.
I absolutely will.
Yeah. Were we still spiking? Mine could be spiked.
Does Chris Angel have an emo haircut at one point?
Oh, yes. Are you
yeah,
kidding?
1,000%.
And the eyeliner? All of it.
Okay.
Guyliner.
That's definitely going to happen.
All right. The episode starts with Zach giving us a history lesson about Birmingham, Alabama, and its connection to the iron industry. So Zach briefly, as he's going into this history, interviews a historian, Richard Neely, PhD, who explains there wasn't much there after the Civil War. Neely refers to it as the New South, where they became more focused on manufacturing, commerce, and industry.
See, the New South, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because the Old South is low.
Well, I know, but like Atlanta was the New South,
Right. So even though I know facts about the Civil War, it's still wild to hear some of the numbers. So Zach says the Civil War freed about 3 million slaves who now need to find work. 3 million to me is a wild number when you think about it. So, and this was in reference to the fact that all of these people now needed to find work. It was the Industrial Revolution. So they were able to find work at these factories and mining. What do they call those? Mining mills?
Mining mills?
Mines.
Mines or mills?
Okay. You know what? Mines. The whole time, and you'll notice this in my notes, the whole time that I watched this, I kept calling it the Sloss Furnace Factory because I didn't understand how it's just called the Sloss Furnace. I was like, it's missing a word. Okay. So 3 million is a crazy number. of people that were suddenly in need of jobs. Like that, when you think about that, that's wild. So
Yeah.
I believe a lot of those, not a lot, but some of those people were employed by the Sloss Furnace factory.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to add that on.
Which
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were,
horribly paid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'm not.
Yeah.
And from what
Don't
we
worry.
heard,
I got a bunch of
the conditions were not
history
great.
and stuff.
So we learned that James Wither Sloss saw an opportunity in the rebuilding to open this.
Can I just say, terrible name.
Horrible name.
Terrible
Awful.
name.
Sounds like something at the bottom of like your oil bin, the oil catch in your car.
I mean, it's fitting for a furnace. A schloss.
Apologies to all of our Sloss followers. We love you.
If you are a Sloss, let us know.
Let us know how you feel about this commentary.
Yeah.
So he saw this opportunity in the rebuilding to open the Sloss Furnace, which was a place where they processed coal. Mel may know more than I do. That's what I gathered. They never really fully explained it in the episode, so I just wrote
I got a lot on
processed coal.
Don't worry.
So former Sloss,
The Sloss family.
Dirty birdie.
Yeah.
Former Sloss employee Patrick Shelby is interviewed and explains that his father worked for the Sloss, and that in his day they had a saying. This was it's a gem of a saying.
Oh yeah.
Kill a man, hire another one. Kill a mule, buy another one. Don't kill no mules. They cost $25.
You know?
That's just the
lovely way to think of
men's lives mean
labor.
nothing to you, but a mule is worth $25.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's free to fire people. Free to hire people. Not the case really, but
well, that was what I was thinking. I'm like, but you don't have to pay the people? Like that's basically what you're saying in this. Anyway, before I get any deeper into this lore and history, Mel, I think it might be time for some This Old Haunt.
thanks, Charlie. All right. You guys ready? On today's episode of This Old Haunt, we're headed deep into the industrial underworld of Birmingham, Alabama, where molten iron flowed and safety regulations were more of a suggestion. Welcome to Sloss Furnaces, a place where the American dream was forged in fire, and sometimes so were the workers. It's a National Historic Landmark now, but for decades it was a living hellscape of molten iron, toxic fumes, and management style best described as murder adjacent. Let's fire up the blast furnace and see which ghost still hasn't punched out.
Hold on, Lauren, you're still muted. I see you laughing, and I want to hear your laugh.
I'm pantomiming my laugh. Okay.
Okay.
There's too much going on right now, but I'm enjoying this.
Well, thank you.
I just want you to know.
Management style that is as close to murder adjacent is wild. Like that is wild.
Also, the delivery is
Thank you. All right. So what was Sloss Furnaces? It was built in 1881 by Colonel James Withers Sloss, and Sloss Furnaces became one of the most productive pig iron blast furnaces in the country and powered the rise of Birmingham as the Magic City. I will go more into pig iron later.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I will. I will go into pig iron a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
So while this pig, P-I-G?
Pig, P-I-G, pig iron. So while the surface story is one of innovation, what they don't put on the historical plaques is that the city's iron boom was built on the backs of poor, mostly Black laborers who endured hellish 120-degree plus conditions, 16-hour shifts, and lethal machinery, all for scraps of pay and zero protections. So behind this...
The mule was worth more to them than
Yes.
the person. That's just disgusting.
Yeah. So behind this,
it's not shocking, but it's
No.
disgusting.
So behind the scenes, James Pickering Devil, superintendent and inventor.
Wait,
helped
was his last name Devil?
Dovel,
Miss-
Dovel.
It sounds like DeVille.
Yeah.
Cruella
Deville.
Yeah.
Cruella Deville.
I also, yet again, it took me longer than it should have to realize that Cruella Deville spelled cruel was Cruel Devil.
Yeah, that was on her license plate too.
I know. I know. Not like as late as I think I was in middle school or high school.
Yeah, it was like Chester drawers.
Yeah, no, it wasn't as bad as Chester drawers. I was pretty bad. Anyway, he was the superintendent and inventor who helped modernize operations with 17 blast furnace patents, ironically making the factory more productive, not necessarily safer. Sloss ran until 1971 and became a National Historic Landmark in 1981. It now functions as a museum, event venue, which is weird, and home to Birmingham's most famous ghost stories.
Like, what kind of events? I want to know.
I have no idea.
Have your wedding at Sloss Furnace.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you know, that's actually what's happening.
All right. So a little bit more on Colonel James Withers Sloss before we move more into the history. He was a Southern Railroad guy who looked around post-Civil War Alabama and thought, you know what this city needs? Less nature and more smog. So in 1881,
which I feel like a lot of men did during that.
They were like,
industrial time.
Trees.
Breathable fresh air. We don't need that.
No. Yeah, I know. All right. So in 1881, he founded Sloss Furnaces, not because he was some steel genius, but because he had the money and connections to slap his name on it. He cashed in on Birmingham's raw materials, got out 6 years later, and left behind a literal hell furnace that chewed up workers and spit out pig iron. Again, I will go into pig iron next.
Thank you, because you know I'm going to ask.
I know. So basically, big railroad energy, low employee safety vibes. So what is pig iron? Well, I'm glad you asked, Charlie. Pig iron is the rough, unrefined iron that gets produced when you smelt iron ore with coke. I will get into coke later.
They talked about coke in this episode. I had the same reaction. I was like,
yes.
Coke? Cocaine?
With coke and limestone in a blast furnace. It's the industrial equivalent of a greasy pre-cut burger patty, meant to be melted down and reshaped into something better later, like steel. It's called pig iron because when it cools in molds, the shape looks like piglets sucking a mama pig. Super strange visual, but hey, 19th century industrials loved it. So,
okay.
in terms, back to coke, the coke and limestone that you smelt with the iron ore to get pig iron.
Show me this. Show me this.
Well, in this context, coke does not equal cocaine, just industrial sadness. So coke is not the kind that ruined the 80s. It's a high carbon fuel made from, bituminous coal that's been baked in an oven until all the impurities burn off. So it's left as a dense carbon-rich material that burns super hot, which is perfect for melting iron ore inside a blast furnace. So no, they weren't tossing rails of coke into the furnace, just literal rails. So, imagine working 16-hour shifts next to a blast furnace fueled by something called coke and finding out it's just dehydrated coal and not the kind that makes the shift go faster. Disappointing on every level.
Yeah.
I bet they wish they had a Jesus statue.
Right. Well, I need to correct myself. It was heroin in the Jesus statue on Lost, not coke. My bad. Apologies across the board. Thank you to
not cocaine.
It was not cocaine. It was
not
heroin.
This type of black tar.
No,
actual heroin.
It was not dehydrated coal. It was heroin. Anyway, on to Sloss's legacy as an industrial pioneer. So he's called a pioneer, but let's be honest, he was a money guy who showed up, slapped his name on the furnace, and dipped out before it got really dangerous. So on the railroad empire, Sloss made his fortune in railroads first, which basically was the 1800s version of being a tech bro. except with way more soot and occasional derailment. From there, he pivoted into pig iron because nothing says diversification like smelting rocks at 3,000 degrees. Moving back into our overview of this old haunt, that was it on Colonel James Withers Sloss. Next, we'll get into the crimes, deaths, and some of the industrial horror. So Sloss Furnaces didn't just break spirits, it broke bodies. There were dozens of documented deaths, though many more likely went uncounted, especially among the African-American labor force. One of the most gruesome areas is the blower building, where workers reportedly fell into vats of molten iron, their bodies vaporized instantly. Stories also include crushing incidents, gas leaks, heat stroke collapses, and equipment malfunctions. The next shift usually started without pause.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Choose your vaporized or crushed. What would you rather?
Oh, good Lord.
What would you rather do?
I guess vaporized because it would be instantaneous.
But
I wouldn't
isn't
even.
crushing also instantaneous?
There's got to be like a second or two in there that you're feeling something.
Same with what about leading up to the vaporization, like that heat? I think I would be crushed.
Crush.
What about you, Lauren? Crushed?
I think crushed only because I've been burned before, and being burned is excruciating.
Yeah.
And I've heard being burned is the worst pain.
Yeah. Speaking of being crushed, though, I also this weekend watched.
Speaking of,
watched
segue
into. No, but seriously, this weekend I watched the Astroworld documentary, the Travis Scott concert.
Mm-hmm.
Those people were like literally
Horrible.
The crowd surged. People fell on top of each other, and some of the people were crushed
suffocated
and died from
God.
It was 9 people that ultimately died from injuries sustained at the concert. I was like, what the fuck? That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Crazy.
All right. Next, we're going to talk a bit about the legend of James, also known as Slag Wormwood. Was it fact, fiction, or ghost PR? The legend paints him as a sadistic graveyard foreman in the early 1900s who pushed men into double shifts in sweltering, unsafe conditions. They say he was eventually pushed into molten iron by furious workers. Paranormal teams and ghost tours love blaming aggressive hauntings on him. But here's the twist. There's no record he ever existed. No employee files, no death certificate. Could be lore cooked up from drama, or just an amalgamation of the many cruel overseers that did exist. So, nothing screams paranormal branding opportunity like an evil boss with a melodramatic name and no paper trail. So
when they were going over him, I was like, oh, he's like a modern day Caesar.
Yeah,
kind of. If he's like the overseers all put together, which makes sense to me.
But for those who are not watching us on YouTube, Lauren and I's faces were just like in shock, because you'll find out in part 2 just how much they lean into Slag in this episode.
Yes,
so to discover that he wasn't even somebody that you could prove existed is wild.
Yeah. And some of the stuff gets even weirder. So onto the paranormal claims and hauntings. Sloss is considered one of the most haunted industrial sites in the U.S.
Oh, really? In the U.S.?
Yeah. But also, what
a
weird
scale?
Fucking category. Let's just think about it.
But
it's not just one most haunted locations, it's most haunted industrial sites. What?
Okay, but what's the scale? Like, is there a national scale that we're basing it on?
Is it the Guinness Book of World Records?
I have no idea. But the fact that there's does this mean that there's the most haunted Foot Locker? I don't know. What are the industrial sites as a category is kind of strange.
That's a strange category.
But anyhow, some of the claims include apparitions of former workers who are seen walking the catwalks or collapsing near blast furnaces. People have heard disembodied voices.
Wait, the ghosts are collapsing or people are collapsing?
The ghosts, the apparitions.
Okay.
People have heard disembodied voices, screams, and metallic bangs that are heard after dark, especially in the blower building. Visitors report being pushed, scratched, or choked, often blamed on the spirit of slag or resentful workers. Some EVPs captured during investigations suggest intelligent hauntings. I still want to hear my first stupid haunting. Like, the amount of times they say, you can tell this is an intelligent being. What's a non-intelligent being? What?
Yeah.
I think so I know you're being facetious.
You know, I am being, but I'm also like,
Yeah,
well,
just
the
why
point
say
that
it?
doesn't make any sense.
Right?
The point in saying intelligent response means that this isn't just a fluke. This isn't just like
Something
the response we're getting is something that understands.
Yeah.
That's so
But what wouldn't understand?
A plant.
Do plants haunt?
I'm saying like that, like they're saying you can't debunk this. This is an intelligent response from something that's understanding or trying to communicate back with us.
Well, that's an unintelligent name, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know what other word they could use for that, but that's how they refer to it for whatever reason.
Got it. All right. Well, paranormal teams, including Zach and Co., often highlight thermal anomalies, EMF spikes, and decommissioned electrical zones, feeling of dread and being watched, especially near furnace number 1 and the tunnels. Also, if you want to hear more about
unprotected wiring.
Yep. If you want to hear more about decommissioned electrical zones and EMFs, check out our mini-sode, Char Checks the Tech on EMFs.
Yes.
So some paranormal reports and specific encounters and claims are the furnace floor screamer. A former security guard reported hearing blood-curdling screams coming from the number 1 furnace at 2 a.m. He investigated, found no one inside, and quit that night. There's also an unseen pusher in the tunnels, which we go into in the episode. So visitors have been shoved or grabbed by something unseen, especially in tunnel number 3 and around the blower building. One fell and dislocated a shoulder. I also feel like they didn't even talk about the blower building in the episode, which kind of surprised me.
They do talk about it a little bit. I have a note in here, something about the blower building. I don't remember exactly what happened in it, but one of the actions, like somebody gets hit or something, happened.
Oh, slapped.
Yeah.
No, but that's not what it was. It was
like,
I think one of the guys saw an entity and it like comes running up to him or something. I think that happened in the blower building.
Yeah. Well, so disembodied voices and metal footsteps echo along some of the empty catwalks. One guide heard, "Get back to work," whispered in an unoccupied control room. There are shadow figures that have appeared in work gear. So multiple shadowy apparitions have been seen, and some described as wearing hard hats or aprons, especially in the tunnels and control tower. So some scratch marks and dead batteries are another thing that people have brought up. Investigators report unexplained scratches, sudden battery drains, and tech failure, particularly near the boiler room and furnace number 1. And then we come on to Theo Jowers, who was a real furnace worker who died during an explosion at a nearby site. Some claim his spirit was seen continuing to work inside Sloss, described by psychics as a man repeating the motions of his job.
Which is so freaky because I have always thought about that. If you die so suddenly that you just keep repeating those last moments just over and over again, where you you're kind of just in this limbo moment where you just don't know how to get out of those last moments where you're just in that
like
last
the idea that it happens so traumatically that you just keep repeating it.
Well, and they go into that in the interviews of just not knowing how to get out of that because it is so sudden and traumatic, just so scary.
So the weird thing about Theo Jowers is, well, one, he was a real person, unlike Slag. His name was Theophilus Calvin Jowers.
Oh,
Theophilus.
I don't know if it's a silent H or not, but it's Theophilus. Theophilus.
Oh, okay.
Sounds very Greek to me.
Yes.
Very much so.
So anyway, he worked as a night shift foreman at Alice Furnace, which was another pig iron producing site in Birmingham, Alabama.
Was that
There's
Sloss
more than one?
Furnaces. Yes. So in 1887, he died in a work-related accident when a large bell, part of the furnace equipment, fell on him. His death was sudden, traumatic, and very public.
But it was at Alice?
Yes. So he did not die at Sloss Furnaces, but this is one of the most common like attributions of one of the hauntings there is people say like, oh, it's Theo Jowers. Even like his family members claim he's there. So
it looks just like him, or
so the short answer for why this happens is something called ghost story creep. The longer answer would be over time, Birmingham's haunted industrial history has gotten kind of mashed together. So Sloss Furnaces is the only surviving and accessible historic blast furnace site in the city, and it leans heavily into its haunted branding. So any nearby foundry or factory tragedy tends to kind of get absorbed into the Sloss ghost ecosystem. And it's kind of like all the ghost stories.
They all just got mushed into one place.
Yeah, like how from old Vegas casinos somehow got rebranded under one surviving building. Convenient. Yeah. Historically accurate. Not really. So some psychics even and ghost hunters even claim that Jowers' ghost relocated to Sloss either because of the residual energy, unfinished business, or as some believe, because people are actively investigating and drawing spirits there. It's become a paranormal hub, which ghost lore loves. But there are reports of a male presence described as a working man still patrolling the catwalks, voices calling out names, including Jowers, a shadowy figure, hey shadow people, near furnace number 1 that some attribute to him. But again, all of that is based on interpretation, psychic claims, or vague EVP responses. Not documented sightings of him during his lifetime at Sloss. So, my take. Theophilus dies at Alice Furnace, but shows up working overtime at Sloss. So it honestly kind of sounds about right for how this city treats its labor history. Just because the ghost is unionized doesn't mean it has to stay on site.
Do you think he's like being a little spiteful?
I guess.
You know, like,
I mean,
fuck you. Like, I died at Alice and now I'm going to go work for your competitor.
Could be.
In death.
Maybe.
That
like,
sounds...
This place is bigger and cooler. And
yeah.
There are way more
like,
ghosts over
like
here.
I'll show you.
I'll make the Sloss name more popular than the Alice name.
Like, this is my legacy.
Yeah. That is so funny. Oh my God.
This is actually my fear, though, to be a ghost and not have a purpose in the afterlife. I would love to.
Hopefully you wouldn't know that, though, right?
But
if you're just stuck in a loop, you wouldn't be aware.
I mean, hopefully. But like, I would like to, you know, be like Beetlejuice, where you kind of are just living in your house and just kind of dilly-dallying, you know?
If something ever happens to you, Lauren, I promise to look in the mirror and say, Lauren, Lauren.
Oh my God.
I would
want to be Bloody Mary?
I would love to be Bloody Mary.
You want to be the ring girl? Samara, what's her name? Samara?
Yeah, Samara.
You want to haunt people from your well.
I will be Lore. And you have to like spin around like 6 times.
Okay.
Lore.
You heard it here first, folks. The
Summon
next
her.
In life.
Yes.
There
if anything ever happens to one Lauren Sanders, Mel and I are not guilty of anything.
And to summon me, you have to spin around 6 times, and you have to say lore 6 times.
That's so...
And look in the mirror.
That's so catchy.
Lore.
Yeah.
Lore.
Or like it's turned into like a little not a nursery rhyme. What's the like ring
around the rosy?
Yeah.
Lore. Okay.
We'll make you into like a double Dutch song.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Sloss Furnaces, is there anything official? not really. There's no confirmed murders. Lauren, are you laughing? Why are you laughing so hard?
Because she's laughing because we would have kept going.
I had to cut us off.
You're like, enough.
It's like, shut up. Love
All
y'all.
right, back to this. Are we still in this old haunt?
Yes, I'm almost done.
We've butted in way too many times.
All right.
Okay.
There are no confirmed murders, no criminal charges or investigations tied to the site. But it's labor.
Okay, but Mel, what about like, so you're saying that nobody fell into the furnace at Sauce Factory?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
They did. Yes, they did.
There's just not confirmed.
Nothing is confirmed.
Got
There
it.
are no accident reports. There are no death certificates. But yes, a lot of the workers were previously enslaved African Americans. So did they even do paperwork on their workers at that time, you know? So labor and history is deeply entwined with Jim Crow era exploitation, dangerous working conditions, and underreported deaths. If you just let me finish, Charlie. I was gonna talk about
Charlie, Lauren is the one who's been talking the whole time.
No, you started with you don't believe anybody was pushed in bats, and I was about to
I just wanted to understand because you were saying I wanted to understand whether or not it was confirmed. So it sounds like what you were saying was that these things may have happened, but they weren't confirmed.
Yes, underreported.
Yes.
So in closing, there you have it. An industrial death trap turned historic landmark, where steel wasn't the only thing that got burned. Whether it's a marketing-friendly ghost story or genuine spiritual unrest, Sloss Furnaces is haunted by history either way. That's it for today's episode of This Old Haunt. Punch out carefully and watch your back on the way out. See you next time in the boiler room.
Woo!
Woo! If only the listeners knew how long it took Mel to get through that, because we would not shut up. And now
Mel.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
the
you.
MVP.
Thank you.
You're the only one who can actually do that. Seriously.
No, recording This Old Haunt on my own, though, it was so much harder for some reason. Probably because it's just me talking. I guess this is just me talking for a long time, but it's different. It feels different.
So we join Zach and Richard Neely as they walk again. Richard Neely was a historian.
I thought we were at the lockdown.
Lauren, back up away from that microphone.
My God. All right, Char, keep going.
Okay. So we join Zach and Richard Neely. A reminder, Richard Neely was a historian. As they walk around the Sloss Furnace, Neely explains some of the things that have taken place here throughout its history. Again, take this with a grain of salt because according to Mel, none of these things have been verified. He says that in the first decade of operation, there were 2 men burned up inside the furnace because they had a problem with something called the furnace clinker. They had a piece of coke, which is what we just explained, which is a processed piece of coal stuck to the side of the furnace. I'm like, is that really a problem? Wouldn't it just like fall off eventually? I guess not. But
I think it could fall off on someone, or it could
maybe, but I thought it was
or-
like down below. I don't know.
But
Anyway.
I did say right down Zach's face when he said the Coke thing. He was like,
Yeah, he
did. He totally
Yeah.
perked up. I'm like,
he was like, Coke.
He was like, tell me more. I'm very interested. Anyway, so they lowered these 2 men into the platform while the furnace was in operation with the goal of having them knock the clinkers off the side. And the clinkers were this piece of coal. So once they knocked the coal off of it, it caused a small explosion. This small explosion caused the men to lose their balance and they fell into the furnace to be burned up, which is horrific. If that were me, I would not be very happy. I wouldn't be alive, would I? So now we move on to some additional eyewitnesses, as they like to call them in this episode. I don't remember them referring to people as eyewitnesses in other episodes.
These people are also like just so
Salt of the earth.
so Alabama, like a wide variety of humans.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very comforting to me.
Yes. So we start with Michael Scoggins, who I like to refer to as Scogs because I just feel like that's what his friends refer to him as. I'm going to assume he's Scogs to everybody he knows.
Wait, is that the one that had the Netherworld t-shirt?
If you mean the shirt that I thought was like a Grateful Dead shirt or Metallica, I don't know. These are all just
it was
bands.
Netherworld. It was Netherworld.
Okay, yeah.
So I said he looks like he's probably a huge Grateful Dead fan because I know nothing of this world, and that was the only rock band I could think of. He had a long ponytail, scraggly puby beard, and tattoos. You know the type. So he tells us that he believes these guys don't even realize that they're dead, and they think they're still working because of how they died, which, to Lauren's point earlier, is horrific. To think that you could be trapped just doing the same thing that you did your whole damn life, even in death. I hope to God. You know what? If I die while I'm podcasting, I won't be mad. That wouldn't be bad. But if I died like in the middle of arguing with somebody about the colors of a logo or something, that would be miserable.
Going back and forth on a client, like
going back and forth on an edit with a
Yeah.
client,
yeah.
you know, going back and forth, fighting with a marketer about something. That would be a horrible death. So he says it's because they died in a traumatized experience and they have unfinished business. We've all heard about the unfinished business piece. So that's his take on this. Now we meet Brooke Bowen.
But don't we all have unfinished business?
I mean, technically, if you're
Yeah.
if you're forward thinking in life, then yes, you'll always have unfinished business, right?
Yeah.
So we meet Brooke Bowen. Brooke tells us that they saw a grayish figure that peeked its head out, and when it turned around, it was just gone. Now, my theory is that Brooke is actually Michael Scoggins. It's his ex-girlfriend. She had on like a more professional top, but she gave off that like rocker vibe. Like she had like the short red bob and like
Wait, is Brooke the one with the tramp stamp?
No, not the one flirting with Zach.
Okay.
That is Sarah. We will get to Sarah.
Yeah.
So I think that Brooke hates Michael. I think their relationship ended very poorly, and they were like, well, I'm also going to be on Ghost Adventures. And like, and they basically fought over who was going to be in this episode. So they had to separate them.
Really curious, like, where they found these individuals. You know, it's not like they were wandering around the campus.
No, it seemed like they were all people that potentially knew each other in some degree. Yeah. And then they were like, oh yeah, my boy Kevan was here.
Yeah. Or like kids of some of the workers that were interviewed, you know, or the museum workers, you know, friend of a friend kind of thing. But yeah.
So what's her name? Brooke talks about this grayish figure that she saw. Okay, that's fine. But now we get to Kevan.
Wait, it's not just Kevin?
No, his name is Kevan, but I'm going to call him Kevan the rest of the episode. So I wanted to take a note that Kevin was spelled Kevan, which will be Kevan to me. Do with that what you will. So, Kevan. Zach mentions that Kevan is a local paranormal investigator. He looks like he's 19 years old.
I also wrote that he looked 19.
He is a baby face. He's got like acne on his face. Like he literally looks like he's in high school. Also,
the wrist things that he's wearing really brought me back.
Oh,
the little like sweatband type. Not, they weren't sweatbands. They were the spiky.
Yes, like a Hot Topic.
Yes,
something from Hot Topic.
Hot Topic or Spencer's. And
but
then
doesn't everybody look like that in this episode though? Like
not quite like
no,
not quite like Kevin. And then also it was really bizarre where they were interviewing Kevin at first. It looked they were in, I don't know, one of the tunnels or something, and I guess there's like a
wait, is Kevin the one that got slapped? Remind me who Kevin is. Kevin is the one that got slapped. Okay.
But there's like a pipe, not a pipe, like a line of some sort, a power line or something that's like hanging between Kevan and Zach. You'll have to insert an image here, Lauren.
It's like,
And it
okay.
looks like Kevin's like being choked by it. I was like, why?
Why are we
Would-
filming at this
Why
place?
was this the place? It's like this tube.
Like,
that's-
why is no one like
It's so awkward.
controlling the framing?
Well, if you look when Zach is interviewing Brooke, his body language is like real weird. Like he is leaning over and kind of like moving his body away from her. Like he's like, I am absolutely not attracted to you. And I was like, dude, you're being like the way either that or he really had to go to the bathroom. And he was like, I can't stand up straight right now. Kevan looks like he's 19. They say he's a paranormal investigator, and I was like, I'd love to know what the credentials are
First day on the job.
for a paranormal investigator because he's a baby. So Zach and Kevan start walking towards the boiler room, and Zach says, so back here, this is where you were actually slapped in the face by an unseen force. I'm sorry.
Can you imagine
slapped in the face?
being slapped by a spirit? I would be
Okay.
like, come on, a slap?
And I genuinely believe this happened just because Kevan is too innocent and seems like does not seem like he would hurt a fly. Like he does not come off as somebody to me who is brave enough to lie on TV about something like this. And I'm like, something happened to this kid, but this is wild.
Or he was like really high.
Or he was really high and like slapped himself in the face and I was like, whoa, who did that?
Or ran into, the tube and thought he'd been slapped.
So Kevan walks up to the platform that he had been on when this whole event occurred. Zach wants Kevan to show him exactly what happened.
Oh, I thought
So
he was
he's-
squatting on a rock. It's the platform.
Oh, he was sitting on like a platform.
He's
It
like
wasn't a rock.
awkwardly like hovering on a rock. All of the interviews are just insane. But he's
Yeah,
like-
this whole episode made me go, this is why I love OG Ghost Adventures. Because like the people make this episode.
They do.
So Mr. Kevan sits on the platform and he shows Zach how he was holding the camcorder in one hand and a tape recorder in the other. So for our youngins who are listening, a camcorder was a portable video recording device that we used to have to carry around to film video because still cameras, phones, and video recording devices were all separate things back in the 1900s.
Yep. In the 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch, Charlie.
So I'm so sorry. Sorry if that was a deep cut.
Yeah.
So he says that he was filming and then all of a sudden the tape recorder clicked off and then his camera died. So he dropped his hands a bit, I think in like confusion of like what the fuck just happened. And he says, all of a sudden something smacks me full force across the face. He says it was really hard. Like he had a handprint on his face from the smack and his head moved from the force. Insane.
Poor Kevan.
Absolutely insane. Poor Kevan. So he tells Zach that his friend Josh Craig witnessed it.
Oh, Josh Craig.
So and these two, if you had to imagine what these two are like, just picture Michael Cera and Jonah Hill from Superbad, but like emo.
Yeah.
Like just make them emo, and that's exactly what you're looking at.
And wearing like unironic, well, maybe it is unironic like graphic tees.
Yeah. So Josh Craig, another eyewitness, and I guess he's not a paranormal investigator, but
he was just the
Kevan
friend
was.
that's there to watch. He's like, nah, man, I'll just come with you.
He also looks 19. He has such a baby face. Like he literally looks like a baby, but he has a full beard. And he's wearing a Gumby shirt, which brought me back. If you do not know what Gumby is, please go and Google it.
The Gumby shirt, I was like laughing out loud. I was loving these witnesses. Such a colorful group of characters.
They were so
Which
good.
I feel like is such a stoner thing.
Oh,
these
yeah.
days,
Yes.
too, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Josh tells Zach that Kevan came running up the stairs, really freaked out. So he wasn't technically an eyewitness. This bothered me
Oh, yeah.
because
Well, he saw the handprint.
Kevan made it sound like he had seen the whole thing happen and he
Oh, I know.
didn't.
Well, he's like
No,
12,
he-
Charlie.
I know. I
I
know.
was like, he was not a witness. He just he was a witness to the aftermath.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized I was probably the age of those guys when this was happening.
Yes, you probably were. You were about 19 in 2007,
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
So anyway, he said that Kevan came running up the Kevan came running up the stairs, really freaked out. He says he saw the handprint on his face, but that to the touch, his skin was actually cool, which was pretty weird considering that usually a handprint would be a sign of blood rushing to the area and it would be warm.
Okay, when he said this, I'm like, why is he touching his face?
He's like, "Come here, bro. Let me caress
Like,
your
why is
wound."
he even touching it? Like, what, why?
Wait, Zach touched.
No,
Kevin's
the guy is touching his friend's face.
But Lauren,
Oh.
if you had a handprint on your face, I might touch your face. I might be like, "Oh my god, I see a handprint. That's crazy."
I don't know.
I don't know. We flip back to Richard Neely, the historian. So Neely tells us about the blower rooms. Again, they do not really go into detail about this furnace and like how everything works. They just introduce these locations, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this? What does this have to do with a furnace? Like, I don't understand completely, but
Maybe the blower room is where they cool it or something. I didn't go.
I mean, yeah,
The place is massive.
I'm just assuming that that's probably what it is because they don't really explain it. And it would have been helpful if maybe they just kind of gave a little explanation here and there.
Yeah.
But so he tells us about the blower rooms in the factory. He says that in blower room number 1, which I'm assuming is tied to furnace number 1, because it sounds like there's 2 furnaces.
Mhm.
There are, and forgive me if I butcher this, but Ingersoll Rand turbo compressors.
Good
He
job.
Thank you. He shows Zach areas on these compressors where they had been repaired multiple times, kind of like the submersible.
Yeah.
But because they were cheap management, they bought a replacement valve from a junkyard that didn't fit right, which also kind of sounds like the submersible. So
Yeah.
this
Oh,
is very interesting.
I also wrote during this time point, because we talked about rentals, like what would happen there. Can you imagine like a rave party at this place?
Ooh, that would
You
be
know?
fun.
That would be amazing.
Right?
Or like a silent disco where you have the headphones on.
Yeah. I mean, someone would definitely die.
Fuck silent discos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying
Hot
it'd be
take.
interesting.
Hot take, everyone.
I've never been to a silent disco. I just could picture
I'm
people.
like, really? Silent discos? Silent discos?
Okay. So
Yeah.
they were trying to repair this, what was it called? Blower thing? This
Whatever.
compressor. They were trying to
Factory
repair.
thingy.
They were trying to repair this compressor. When they turned it back on, the whole damn thing exploded. No shit, because they used cheap materials. They put it on. It was like wonky. It was none of this was regulated. 2 men were bad.
And like, were they actual engineers?
I don't know if the people that did this were engineers or not. It was not clear.
Yeah.
But 2 men were badly
They're like,
scalded.
Let me.
Yeah, this looks good. Yeah. Just because the way he said it, he was like, "Fire it up." So they were trying to repair it, and when they turned it back on, the whole damn thing exploded. 2 men were badly scalded. Their skin was bubbling up as if they had been boiled. They had to have had 3rd-degree burns, if not worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The workers had said they thought they were really dead while they were walking up the stairs, but they didn't know yet.
This is what scared me. It's like, were they walking upstairs, the stairs, while they were
Yeah, I think
Dead?
that no,
Like they
yes.
were dead?
Yes. So there is a story, and forgive me because I don't remember the actual name of the victims or the killer in the story, but there is a story where this kid, this like teenager, kills his parents, and he was really, after he killed his father, was really freaked out because his father was still technically alive and was going about his normal routine
Oh.
even though he was dead. Like he's like walking up the stairs, like trying to make a shake, like doing all of his normal things, but he had like a brain bleed or something because the kid
Yeah.
tried to kill him. Anyway, that's what this reminded me of. So I was
Sure.
like, think about it like you ever hear like a chicken with its head cut off?
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing where it's like the body's
Yeah.
gonna keep going or trying to do what it was doing, even though the head is gone.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah. Like,
So
like the nervous system is just still functioning.
Mm-hmm.
right,
Even-
kind of like a zombie. Like if
Yeah.
a fungus took over a body, then it could make it move,
Yeah.
like in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So creepy. Okay. So then he interviews Houston Williams. I really like the name Houston, by the way.
I do too.
I was like,
Mhm.
ooh. He's a former Sloss employee. Houston takes Zach into the underground tunnel where they allegedly see an apparition of a man. He explains how they gather the ore out of the tunnel and put it in dumper bins. Then they are put into elevated cars that take the bins up to the surface. So this tunnel is the underground place where they're mining out the ore.
Also, this man, I loved his accent. I think he was like Cajun. It sounded
yeah.
Cajun because he said, instead of the way he said there, he said dare, like
Mhm.
down dare.
Yeah. I love,
I love that. Yeah.
It was, I could just listen to him. I love a Cajun accent.
Same.
I just love any kind of like accent where you're just like, where are you from?
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans is one of my favorite places and it's super haunted. So I think that's another place that we should go. So Houston told Zach that he worked there for over 40 years. And even at the beginning of when he first started working there, they had seen ghost sightings. So this isn't like a new thing. Like they've been seeing them for a long time. Then again, 40 years ago at that point would have been what, like 1970 something, 60 something. Yeah. So now they meet Sarah Knight, who is the Tramp Stamp girly. She is the Sloss venue coordinator.
Slash.
We are not trying to insinuate that by any means Sarah is a tramp, but she does have a stamp on her lower back of the Sloss factory that we're about to learn about. So Sarah currently works for the Sloss Furnace. Sorry, I call it a factory because it does not make sense to me that it is a furnace.
No, it's a furnace. There's not like an assembly line.
But they call it a furnace, but they're also mining out the coal.
Yeah, but it's not a factory. They're not producing things off an assembly line.
It confused me because I was like, a furnace to me is just something that burns something. And I'm like, they do more there than just burn things. But anyway.
Yeah.
So she's worked there for 6 years currently. Zach says, want to see how dedicated she is to the Sloss Furnace? He asks her to lift her shirt to reveal a lower back tattoo of the furnace on her back.
Okay, when I'm thinking she's going to lift and show a tattoo, I'm thinking it's like going to be a dainty little tattoo. No, it's like the giant back tattoo.
Mhm.
Not only that, it's like a solid silhouette of the furnace.
It would have been more interesting to me if it was like her whole back, maybe. But the fact that she chose a lower back tattoo specifically that was the Sloss Furnace was just, there were so many choices made at that point.
No,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's like there was no identifying like details of it being the Sloss factory. It could have been liquor bottles.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even pay attention to the tattoo. I was so focused on how odd it was that Zach lifted up this woman's shirt and asked her and then did it and like touched her back a
But
little bit.
she was also she was like, "Oh yeah, sure.
Oh yeah,
you want to show my whole back? Sure."
They were both like, and she also just looked like a classic person who works at Mel Mushroom. I'm gonna have to look at it again. I don't even.
No.
Insert image here.
Yeah, insert tattoo.
And also
image
maybe like
here.
a slow-mo clip of Zach.
It could have been the skyline of anything that no
it
one
was
would have
unclear.
known.
Well, I
It was
guess
unclear.
Yeah.
Like
not a very good tattoo.
Who's gonna know it's the Sloss factory?
No, nobody's gonna know. You know what though? She's never gonna leave Alabama, and only people in Alabama
And
will know
everybody's
that.
gonna be like, "Oh,
So-
that's the silhouette of the Sloss factory."
All right, so she tells Zach that people see shadows moving back and forth when they are down in the tunnel. They hear people talking. She explains that you'll hear and see stuff down at one end, but once you're walking that way and you're about halfway through, you're going to start hearing people following you. You can hear people behind you while you're walking, like as if they're walking faster or like they're talking, which is blech, I don't like any of that. He asks if this happens a lot, and Sarah seems exacerbated by how frequently it seems to occur. So when he asked her, like, "Oh, does this happen a lot?" She was like, "Yeah, all the damn time." Like, that was her reaction. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Now Zach moves back to Richard Neely, our lovely historian. He starts to show Zach blowing engine number 1, which is different than, I guess it's in the blower room, I'm going to assume. He explains that this was all during a time when men were really exposed to terrible dangers in the workplace, which no shit, I think we can tell that this was some awful working conditions. And this is actually something I think about a lot, is like how many people died for some of our inventions, like bridges and coal mines and tunnels and radium and asbestos and lead.
Yeah.
I can go down a rabbit hole, as I'm sure Mel can as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, like, how many people lived? Like, think about those guys sitting on the beam at the top of the Empire State Building. Like, how the hell did they just hang out up there eating their lunch? People took so many risks back then, and I don't know, it's so weird to me. So he shows us how blower engine number 1 is a steam engine that's about 60 feet tall and has two 20-foot diameter wheels. These things are massive. So they would roll at about 35 rotations per minute. When you think about a 20-foot diameter wheel rotating at 35 rotations per minute, that is something huge and heavy that is moving really fast for its size. He shows us how a man was standing and eating his lunch right near the engine while it was in full operation. The workers said that they had looked away for a second, and when they looked back, he was gone. He had gotten snagged by the wheel, swept up into it, and was crushed. There was no way to hit an emergency stop because of how heavy these wheels were. And it took them because they were so heavy, it took them a long time to slow down. Like, even if they tried to stop them, they would not stop immediately because of the size of them. So even if he had gotten caught down there, he was going to be completely mangled, which just sounds like an awful way to die.
Yeah, truly.
Because I'm imagining he probably felt a good amount of that, which is disgusting. So now we're back with Scogs, Michael Scoggins, who I think is Becky Bowen's or Brooke Bowen's, whatever her name was, her ex-boyfriend. So he tells Zach that he's never believed in ghosts until he went to the Sloss Furnace facility. Zach asks if he thinks it's haunted, and he says firmly, "Yes, I do. It is haunted." He warns Zach to take caution because there are some spirits who are up to no good. Aw, they show Zach deep throating a light bulb again.
We're home again.
We're home again. I had to write that down for you, Mel. I was like, oh, we cut to break and we see a deep-throated light bulb. It's wonderful.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, so moving on. Zach tells us that while most of the deaths at Sloss were accidental, some were not. So we meet John Hancock of Declaration of Independence fame.
Apparently. What a name.
No, I think maybe he's descended from the actual John Hancock. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But he is a Sloss. He is now known as Sloss venue manager of Sloss Furnace fame. John Hancock shows Zach where he had been walking on the ground, and up above him on a very high up platform, he thought he had seen his boss. He waved at him and kept walking. He looked back and there was nothing up there. He shows us that there's only one way to get up or down the furnace. And when he got over there, there was nobody there. He talked to some of the other employees and they told him, "You've probably seen slag." As if you remember from what Mel just said a few minutes ago from this old haunt, slag is James Wormwood. So you've probably seen slag, which is supposedly the ghost of James Wormwood, who was the foreman there.
Apparently.
Allegedly.
Also didn't exist.
Asterisk, asterisk, etc., etc. Brooke Bowen, Scogs' ex-girlfriend, tells us that he's supposed to be, this is quote unquote, the awfulest, rudest, meanest guy ever.
Not the rudest.
Not the awfulest. Sounds like he wasn't a fan of giving these workers breaks or had empathy for the harsh working conditions. Apparently, the workers got tired of him being a bully and they shoved him off that high up platform and into the furnace. Sarah tells him, Sarah of Tramp Stamp fame, tells Zach that a lot of people see slag on the back tracks, which is also what you could call her tattoo. Which looks like it's where some of the coal cars used to travel back and forth. So they probably like moved the coal from different places back and forth on these tracks. They would see him being slag, pacing back and forth on these tracks. Zach suggests that he was a sadistic foreman, and Sarah agrees. Sarah said, "The story is that he fell, but most people believed he was pushed into the furnace." And as Mel said, we have no proof of any of that.
Yeah.
She explains that slag is the main apparition that haunts Sloss, the one that most people see. Scogs shows Zach where he saw a black entity about 30 feet away from him. And then this is, I think, in the blower room. I didn't write that part down, but I think this was in the blower room. So he saw a black entity about 30 feet away from him. And then all of a sudden, he says it was right in front of him. He said it felt like it reached right in. This is insane. It reached right inside of his body and squeezed both of his lungs until it took every breath of air that he had in his body out of him. He said his whole body went white and cold, and this thing appeared inside of his mind and told him to get out of there. That sounds like something out of the movie Casper.
Yeah.
It sounds a little too, like the one kid being slapped, I can get on board with. This kid, though, Scogs really seemed to believe this, even as insane as it sounded. But I'm like, dude, maybe it's true, but it really sounds crazy.
Yeah.
He says it scared him half to death, which now makes sense for why he so firmly believes this place is haunted. Zach asks Scogs if he thinks he knows who it could have been, and he said, "Well, the legend goes about this slag character," which is not a full sentence, but I think we understand what he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, there's not even like a mention in a newspaper of this dude, this slag guy, if he were to be causing all this commotion.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So now we get to my favorite part of this whole episode, the climbing of the stairs. So John Hancock tells Zach he can't explain what else he could have seen up on the platform. He said there was no way someone could have made it down that stairway without him seeing them. John tells Zach that it's a 225-foot drop down from that stairway. So what does Zach do? Can anyone guess? Say it with me now. He climbs the stairs. Because of course he does.
Yep.
This wouldn't be early Ghost Adventures if they didn't go on some sort of adventure while they're investigating.
It is also interesting just like not having Nick in episodes for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of see they both are very not aggressive. What's the word?
Charismatic.
Yeah, they're both that like raw extreme. You know, they both want to do the same sort of not silly things, but just
No, if I had to, like, yes,
Outgoing.
Mhm.
outgoing. Yeah, thank you. They're both very outgoing and big personalities, and there's only room for one out here in the Wild West.
It would be like if you left me and Mel to our devices, just the two of us. We're both type A.
I don't know. All three of us are pretty big personalities in different ways, but I did also find it was like wild that when they started, they weren't even hooking themselves in onto the railing.
Oh, just wait. I can't.
Yeah.
So Zach shows us a gate that is unlocked. And as he starts to ascend the stairs, so let's just paint a picture. I don't think we've done this yet.
Mm.
We're in a furnace. This furnace place is like huge towers, and then the furnaces are inside of them. And then there's like wheels and stuff around them.
Mm-hmm.
It's very industrial. So it's a lot of like stairs and steps and platforms and things like that. Zach is looking at the staircase that goes up and into furnace number 1. So there's like a catwalk around this furnace. Like think about when you look up at like a water tower and you see like a stairs and then like a balcony or something that you can stand on. It was very much like that. Or like a fire tower, that type of thing, but 225 feet off the ground. So Zach shows us this gate that is unlocked. And as he starts to ascend the stairs, he tells us that back in the day, a lot of men fell off of these catwalks to their death. So we're going to go to the exact spots where these guys fell. And, well, hopefully we won't fall.
So I thought that too initially until he did clarify while they were climbing. One of the reasons they fell was from the exhaust coming out of the vents, which was like carbon monoxide, which made them pass out and fall to their deaths.
For sure.
So, I mean, not that it's not still like really fucking dumb.
That is one of the reasons why they fell.
That's one of the reasons why they fell. Yeah.
I was like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I personally have in my older age, I think since I've turned about 33 to 35, I do not like heights. Heights have become a thing that like it makes me want to turn my body inside out and vomit everywhere. Like I cannot, when I see heights related things, it freaks me the fuck out. So this was,
yeah, I used to like heights and I'm not terrified of them now, but I'm like, ugh.
No, this
There's
is like
a moment where I'm like, ugh.
This is turmoil to me now.
Yeah.
So watching him climb up these narrow stairs is making my stomach flip. What's worse is that Nick, poor Nick, good Lord, is climbing behind him, holding a camera.
A massive camera.
Not a small camera.
Yeah.
While Zach can use both of his hands, Nick cannot. And I'm just glad to know that they are both alive and that nothing happened to them, because this just felt horrific. Like I already know that they go on to do other episodes. Thank God for that, because I was like, no, they're going to die. This is their death. This is how they all die.
Yeah.
So
I did love the shot of Aaron waiting at the bottom.
yeah, Aaron was like, fuck this. I am not climbing up there.
Yeah.
I would have been with Aaron. I would have been like, yeah, we're good. We can see it. I see all the view I need to see right here.
Yeah.
So we see a shot of Nick walking up, holding the camera. It is a full fucking rig on his shoulder, climbing up this thing. What the fuck? Please, Lauren, for the love of God, put a picture here of what Nick is carrying up 225 feet.
Yeah.
It is insane. As they're climbing up, Zach points out that the stairs are really old and rickety, and that they need to place their feet on the outer edge of the steps so that they don't fall through. Then he tells Nick that 2 of the steps towards the top are missing bolts, and he needs to be careful.
Yeah. I'm shocked they were even allowed to go up there. I mean, I know they had to sign a waiver, but like,
I truly, like, this whole scene, I felt like I was going to have a panic attack. I was flipping the fuck out. I was like, why are they doing this? They're idiots. Like, if they die right now, they deserved it. Like, that was my feeling at that moment. Once they're at the top, Zach generously offers to take the camera from Nick. I was like, oh, how kind of you to wait until you're at the top and you're on safe ground. We get one singular shot of Aaron down below looking up at them.
the wisest of the bunch.
The wisest of the crew. Zach tells us that this thing that they are on is 90 years old. And you can see that they are eye level with the top of the Sloss water tower. Just to give you guys a picture, if you've ever seen a water tower, just picture how high that is. Yeah. That is where they are.
Yeah.
Zach points out spots in the foundation of where they are standing that has cracks in it and that they could fall through. Now, when he did show these cracks in the metal, it did remind me of like when you're walking in New York City and you walk over grates that are really old and they have cracks in them. And I'm like, oh man, I've walked over so many spots in metal that look like that.
Yeah. But also the way that Zach is walking around at the top of this thing is fucking hilarious. I was dying. I mean, Nick seems like he's walking completely normal, while Zach is like hovering his arms. We do
and find out that Zach is afraid of heights. Like, I don't know how he got himself up there.
I mean, he looks like he's in labor.
But that was so enjoyable.
It was fantastic.
How is this the same man who now won't even leave the West Coast because he won't get on a plane? Who wears fingerless gloves because he's afraid of germs? Like, he thinks he's in his own version of Final Destination or something now.
Wait, is that why he wears the fingerless gloves?
I don't know. I'm assuming.
Oh, I was like, because that doesn't really prevent germs.
No, but there's something there. I swear. I think those fingerless gloves have something to do with his superstitions. I don't know. But back here...
Holly Madison, why does he wear those fingerless gloves?
Holly, please tell us what is going on here.
Spill the tea.
Back in 2008, he literally was testing fate at every corner. And now he's terrified of it. Like,
what happened?
What happened? Is it from years of investigating other people's deaths? I don't know. There's something here.
Where did it go wrong?
Yeah. So now we're learning that Zach is facing his fear of heights, quote unquote, by being up there. But Nick keeps trying to talk to him, and Zach says in a shaky voice, "Don't talk, dude. Every time you talk, it scares me. Just don't talk." As he's trying to navigate his way to a railing. Zach is walking like he's got a big poo-poo in his diaper as he hobbles around. He explains that he's walking like this because this metal is really old and cracked and he's terrified of falling. Literally, please go and watch because he looks like he's the Penguin or or to Mel's point, he looks like he's in labor. It's bizarre.
Is this when he says the pancake thing?
Yes. So he nervously laughs and tells Nick to follow him down to the next level. He says, "Dude, screw this, dude." Then he looks at Aaron's camera and just remember, Aaron is on the ground.
Yeah.
Zach is up above. He looks at Aaron's camera and says, right now, where Nick and I are standing are the same catwalks where countless men fell to their deaths from sucking in carbon monoxide fumes that would have come out of these towers.
So just men.
Why?
This is why he's a host.
Why?
Yeah.
So he continues. They lose their coordination and fall splat like pancakes. Thank you, Zach. Thank you so much. He explains that they had to sign waivers to be allowed to scale that furnace tower because of how dangerous and old and rickety it is. So he was willing to end his life in that moment. Like, you signed a waiver saying, like, hey, I might die up here. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then he ends this segment with, I want to get down.
Yeah, obviously.
So now here, I see a huge mistake. They're walking down these steps. He decides he wants to leave. So they're walking down the steps. They're facing fucking forward.
I have no idea why they would go down that way. I mean, I guess so you could see where you're stepping, but that is a terrifying way to go downstairs.
Why would you walk down these steep ass steps 225 feet above going forwards like you're about to fall to your death?
Yeah, not the way I would do it. You always go down backwards so you can catch yourself.
Insane.
You slide down, you'd fall, I guess.
Absolutely insane. Okay, so this is the end of part 1. We hope you guys have enjoyed so far the Sloss factory. Sloss Furnace factory facility. I don't know. The Sloss Furnace place.
They make Coke there at the factory.
They make Coke there.
It's a Coke factory.
People get tramp stamps of it. It's a wonderful location.
They burn people there.
You know.
They don't burn them. They boil them.
Yeah.
People get boiled.
Or vaporize them.
Yeah. Or vaporized or crushed.
Yeah.
By a giant wheel. But we hope you catch us next time for part 2 of our episode. And if you've enjoyed this part so far, please subscribe, rate, review. It really helps us out.
Share with your friends.
Give us a follow.
Yes, please give us a follow.
Share with your enemies.
No, share with your enemies if you think they might like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very nice of you to share with your enemies.
But until next time,
see you in the shadows.
Bye.
Bye.